So this is a Transformers figure I never really expected to own. I just wasn't really interested in it when it came out originally back in 2020. It's obviously the Transformers collaborative Top Gun Maverick, and I just didn't get it 4 years ago, and then it got reissued again in 2022, and I just wasn't really interested in it. But then I saw it on Amazon for like super cheap. I think it was like under $30 or something, and I'm like, you know what? I'm curious about this guy. It looks like an interesting jet former. Let me go ahead and grab it. You may be thinking, J4, why weren't you really interested in it? Well, truth be told, I haven't seen either of the Top Gun movies. You what? You haven't seen either of the Top Gun movies? The original one is a classic. Even the new one's one of the best sequel movies ever made. What's your problem? I'm gonna chop your head off. Okay, guys. Okay. I get it. You're mad. I get it. You're upset that I haven't seen a movie you really like. I have a long list of movies I haven't seen. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'll watch it someday, I'm sure, but I've never really been super interested in, like, you know, war movies, pilot movies, Tom Cruise movies. I just haven't been super interested in them, and I haven't checked them out. I can acknowledge they're probably very great movies. I will probably enjoy them whenever I get around to it, but I am, first and foremost, a Transformers fan. I love Transformers toys, and I don't get all of the collaborative stuff if it's not something I have a personal interest in. Say, for instance, I have the Back to the Future one because I love Back to the Future. I don't have Ectotron because I'm not really a Ghostbusters fan. I have the Jurassic Park ones because I grew up with Jurassic Park, but I'm not a super big fan. I don't have the Stranger Things one because I've never watched that, not really interested in horror stuff. Same with the Universal Monsters ones. Not really a horror monster fan, so I don't have either of those. But I do have, you know, say X-Pants, because the X-Men are cool, and that is a big, cool leader class. But this guy is one of the few exceptions, because as we have made it very readily apparent, I have no prior knowledge of Top Gun. I know this is an F-14 Tomcat. I know that. I know this is an F-14 fighter jet. And I think it's really cool to have an F-14 in my collection, since the G1 Seekers are F-15s and movie Starscream's an F-22, so it's kind of nice to add the whole family. And wasn't Prime Starscream based on an F-16, if I'm not mistaken? Obviously not a one-to-one, but I think it was based on an F-16. But anyways, yeah, it's a very nice looking F-14 Tomcat, for sure. This is a very nice looking fighter jet. As someone who grew up with the Airfix Dogfighter PC game, this is something that I very much appreciate having in my collection. Just a very nice looking fighter jet. I'm not the biggest fan of the color of gray, though. It just seems kind of, I don't know, bland. And it does have this nice, you know, camouflage paint to it. I do appreciate that. But I don't know, I'm just not the biggest fan of the gray. It just looks a little too dull. And there's not really any other color, especially in the robot mode, to break it up. So it just looks kind of bland. And if I'm not mistaken, this mold is susceptible to that whole yellowing crisis that happened around 2020. You know, when COVID started and Hasbro couldn't go to the factories to make sure the plastic was properly mixed, some figures horribly yellowed. Prime example, here's my Netflix Soundwave. Yeah, that used to be gray. All of it is just this yucky, icky, brownish yellow color now. This thing is just, it's worthless to me now. Especially now that I have, like, the nice Nemesis Bridge one. So I'm hoping this guy won't have a similar fate. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. But yeah, it's a very nice looking alt mode. The wings can be adjusted as well, you know. So I guess, you know, this is probably for some more stability. And this is if you just want to go really fast. That's my guess anyway. I don't know. I'm not a jet pilot. Underside actually looks very clean. You can pretty much tell those are the robot mode arms, but even then it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, the fuselage is very, very nice and clean underneath. I'm very happy with this. Oops. Forgot to squish that in. Oh, you forgot to put that in the... I fixed it. Please comment after you finish watching the video. But yeah, it's a very easy step to miss. My bad. But yeah, this is a really nice alt mode. It does have a lot of nice little details on it. You know, like 114, I guess a part of it's like, you know, because it's an F-14, I don't know. But on the side here, you can actually see some of the names of the characters. So on the side, you can see Lieutenant Pete Mitchell and Lieutenant Rick Bradshaw, Maverick and Goose. That's pretty cool. Maverick, obviously, I'm going to guess is Tom Cruise. Northrop Grumman. Okay. Rescue 114. Yeah, very nice little details. Definitely appreciate that. I don't know if those names are actually accurate to the jet in the movie, or if it's just, you know, they did it for the toy to just have the character names on it for fun. I don't know. It does have this nice little detail on the back as well. I'm assuming that's like the unit insignia. Looking good. Looking very cool. I guess these are like the rear landing gears. I don't know. They're very, very odd, but it's the only thing I found that really like was a landing gear that could match the front landing gear. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. It does have one more accessory, at least to the 2022 version. I just have the 2022 one, so it doesn't come with a couple things that I would probably just put in a storage bin anyway. But it came with this little motorcycle. And I did do a little bit of research. This motorcycle is significant because someone is like driving the motorcycle while one of these is like flying overhead, I guess. So yeah, I'm sure it was iconic, looked cool. So it is a nice little inclusion, I guess, if you're a very big fan of Top Gun, to have the you know, the little motorcycle with it. This will probably just end up in my drawer. I'm not gonna lie. Probably just, that's actually where it was already. I'm like, where did I put the motorcycle? Oh yeah, I put it in my tub already. Alright, so here's the jet mode all done. I think I've talked about it enough. It's a very gorgeous jet. Probably one of the most gorgeous jets that Hasbro's ever made for Transformers. One of my only complaints is that I wish that it wasn't so dull with the gray color. But still, it's not bad. Alright, let's get this guy transformed. Let's see if I can remember how to do it. It's been a little bit. So, obviously, we want to flip out the feet. They are back here. And this is kind of tight to get in there, but we can get the feet. Flip that foot out. Yeah, it's a very fun transformation. Again, I'm not the kind of channel you want to go to learn how to transform it. This guy's been out for years. Go to the people that make videos dedicated to how to do it. I do this for fun. Come on out. There we go. Yeah, I just want to see how easy it is, because I'm sure it's probably not too hard. Oh yeah, these. I was confused about these at first. When I first unboxed them, before I looked at the instructions, I actually did a little bit for this guy. I was like, what are these? Obviously, I've already kind of flipped it out. They're his guns. I mean, obviously, they're like the missiles or bombs or something. And then you flip it out, and they're little guns. I appreciate that. All right, what else we got? So we have the legs pretty much done. And that does mean if you do want to give your Top Gun jet a bit of a Gerwalk mode, you kind of can. It doesn't have any like rear thrusters anymore, but hey, if you want to do that, it's an option. It's an option. All right, so this will come forward. The nose cone will go in, and I think that feeds through the hole, right? Kind of like a classic Seeker, or does it go around? I think it goes around. Yeah, it goes around. That's okay. And then that kind of goes in the hole. All right, making progress. Making progress. This is kind of cool. I appreciate this. So it does have a little bit of an automorph. So when you do move this hinge, down, those panels that I forgot to push in all the way come out. And I just appreciate that. Because I think those panels really add to just adding a little bit of bulk to the robot mode. I definitely appreciate that. You might be able to pick up on some funkiness with this guy. But anyways, flip the helmet out. I call it a helmet because it looks more like a pilot helmet than a robot head. And then those flip back. The missiles we can move down. I'm assuming that, yeah. Then that just tab in right back there. And one of the last things we want to do are the arms. Rotate them all the way around. And then I don't think it matters. It probably does matter which way they go. Here. Yeah, that's the right hand. So we want to make sure that's rotated properly. It's kind of cool how it has like that weird like rotating disc to get the arms properly oriented. I like that. This is a very interesting transformation, but it does definitely leave me a little cornfluffled on some of the methods, I guess. I don't know. It's a good figure, but it's just got a few oddities to it that just make me think like this wasn't designed by the standard Transformers team. Like I feel like this was designed by someone else. It had to have been, because like especially with this torso assembly, like it's just kind of odd. I don't know. Like everything does come together, but I don't feel like it comes together like solid enough. And it has like this panel in the front that just kind of wibbles around. Alright, so then we can give him his guns. I kind of wish you could mount him to the arms. Kind of make him look like, you know, Seeker Null Rays. I think that would look a lot cooler. But you can put him in the hands. It's okay. And here we go. Here is our Transformers Collaborative Top Gun Maverick figure in his robot mode. And yeah, it's pretty neat. It's definitely pretty neat. It's not perfect. Definitely not perfect. I still have my issue with the colors, and I definitely have some issue with like the wibbliness in the legs. But overall, I would say it's a fairly successful jet former. I'm definitely pleased with it. So first and foremost, checking out this helmet. That looks super cool. Obviously, it's based on a pilot helmet, and you can see all the deco, you know, the red, white, and blue Maverick on the top. I can only assume that's based off of Tom Cruise's helmet in the movie. And that looks really nice. But seeing that blue up there kind of makes me wish that they incorporated some of the blue and like maybe red, white, and blue into the rest of the figure, because it's just very gray. It's just very gray. But to be fair, you have to wonder, like, where could they have added that color? Except maybe the arms, because most of that's tucked underneath. Because, like, the legs are essentially just the fuselage of the jet. You know, maybe they could have added a little bit of paint, but then people that are purist would have been a little upset that it had all this added color. I don't know. It's just kind of dull looking, man. I would love this figure in brighter, better colors. Because the color is nice for a realistic jet. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like this is sort of a original Masterpiece Starscream situation. If you don't know, the original Masterpiece Starscream was this. Yes. They made him into a realistic fighter jet, like a realistic F-15. And as you can see, his colors were not Starscream. They were very much not Starscream. So, yeah, they ended up repainting it into a normal Starscream. And I feel like this is an instance where, like, they sacrificed the, you know, the actual appeal of a fun-looking toy for the sake of, you know, the accuracy to the source material. And in my opinion, you know, as someone who enjoys toys more than accuracy to source material, especially source material I have no personal attachment to, I would have liked some brighter colors here and there. And one thing, too, the camo is pretty much all relegated to the back now. And the robot mode, like, has a little bit of the camo, like, on the chest and on the like the fuselage, but it doesn't have any camo on the legs, on the underwings, on the arms, nothing, none of it. But still, it's okay, it's okay. So the accessories he doesn't have. He doesn't have the interchangeable hands that he had to hold a volleyball accessory with the original 2020 release. I can only assume, you know, they play volleyball in the movie, so they're like, oh, we'll make the robot play volleyball. Yeah, I guess they thought it was kind of lame, so they got rid of it. Honestly, I don't miss it one bit. I would never display him like that. His articulation's not bad. He has a ball joint at the head, has a little bit of tilt, definitely side to side. It can, like, move up and down a little bit because it's on this panel, so, you know, if you want your Maverick looking down, all menacing like, you could do that. His shoulders are on universals, and he's got little hinges for shoulder pads. Bicep swivel, very nice elbow bend, wrist rotation, nothing at the waist for the transformation. Kind of standard, you know, jet former fare. They're not really going to move at the waist much. The hips move forward. They move out to the side. They are kind of loose, kind of loosey-goosey, because I think that tiny little hinge right there has a little bit of weight to hold up. He has a thigh swivel. He does have a knee bend, which goes about 90 degrees. And the knee does kind of like tab in for the, like tabs in straight a little bit for the robot, or for the jet mode. So you want to make sure you get those bent a little bit. And then the ankles, they actually do have a little bit of tilt, which I appreciate. And then I guess you can move the toe up if you want, but do be mindful of the panel up above. I like this guy. I do. I'm happy I have him in my Transformers collection. But was it something I needed? I would say, since my Transformers collection is mostly based on things that I have personal attachment to, or I think is really cool toys, you have to think, what, you know, ballpark does this guy fall under? Well, I don't really have personal attachment to it, but I would say it is a pretty cool toy. So it's definitely one I think I'm going to keep around. I enjoy it. But if they do end up redecoing this, you know, if they're just like, oh, we'll just make it into a Voyager, and here it is, F-14 Tomcat into, you know, some other character, yeah, I think I'd probably pick that one up instead and probably ditch this. Because I enjoy the toy, has a few little problems, like some loose hips and some, you know, kind of odd transformation steps. But the colors, They look great in the jet mode because the camo's all over it, and the jet, it just looks like a realistic fighter jet. But then once you get to the robot mode, it's just so dull, and especially if this guy turns yellow. Oh, man. See you later. I would want nothing to do with this guy if he is all that yucky yellow that you saw on my sound wave. I think I would have zero interest at that point. Before I end the video, I'm curious. Can you, like... Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You can have it so, like, the missiles are on the shoulders. I like that. I just now thought of that. Alrighty, guys. Let me know what you think about this figure. Do you like it? Is it something you have or had in your collection? Do you think it's an absolute crime that I haven't watched either of the Top Gun movies yet? If so, I'm sorry. I haven't seen everything. Let me know down in the comments below. Special shout out to channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.